This is the third question, but on this test, it's question number 8. So it's number 3 today or number 8 in the test. What change, if any, should be made in sentence 20? You should underline change in sentence 20. If you did that, give yourself a tally mark. When we look over here at sentence 20, we see that Oliver's just had an S, and that means that there's more than one Oliver. Instead, we're going to talk about the ears that belong to Oliver, Oliver's ears. So we want it to have an apostrophe S to show possession. That is one of our answer choices, so we're going to put a maybe, baby, or a dot for possibility on F. If you did that, give yourself a tally mark. Change stood up to stand it up. Well, stand it up doesn't really sound right unless your name's Billy Bob Jim Bob, but let's just try and plug it in. Oliver's ears stand it up on his head. Well, standed is not a word because the past tense of stand is stood. Oliver's ears standed up, Oliver's ears stood up. So, in this case, the beginning of the word is the same, the ending is different, and it doesn't make sense because standed is not a word. You could put wrong word, but I would just put wrong tense to show that that is not going to work. Change on his head to they were on his head. Let's look at that. Oliver's ears stood up, they were on his head. If we add they were on his head, Oliver's ears stood up, that would be complete. They were on his head, that would be complete. But it doesn't say anything about adding a comma and a fanboys, because if it's complete on the left and complete on the right, you would need a comma and a fanboys to make it right. So even though you could add they were on his head, that would make it 2 complete sentences glued together with nothing, and that wouldn't work. So on his head, they were on his head, I would just bloop out they were and say not needed. If you did that, give yourself a tally mark. No change should be made. You should bloop out the no, and it should just say change should be made. So my only correct answer on that is F. If you picked F as your correct answer and you fixed it that way in your story, give yourself a tally mark.